actually get into it.
I know, but like it's always good to have a pre-talk. But like, what's the word for it?
What up? What up?
What's up?
At it again.
I know, it's good to see your face.
You too, and with the braids.
I know, I finally did it. It took me like, we couldn't even record the time that we were supposed to.
I know, but when you hit me up, and it was like,
a while.
The braids are gonna take a little bit longer than I was like, I feel you, girl.
Yeah, it was like, I like did like probably, I had like maybe like 12 left in the front, and I was like, it was like 11:30 or 12 o'clock at night, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go to bed looking like this right now. And then I had to wake up, and I was like, all right, let's get back into it.
Let's just do it. Yeah. That's the worst when you prep to do your hair and you're like, okay, like I think I could get it done in this amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't.
But my ass had way too much to do. I had to take out old braids. I dyed it, then washed it, then thought I could put in new braids before all this shit. Like I was wilding. I was like, I gotta get new braids. I gotta get like 5 braids every month, because Beyonce inspired me with her flashing braids on us every 5 seconds in Black is King. Like that little segue, like how I talk about my braids and brought it to Beyonce.
Because look, you're not gonna like me.
I know.
You're not gonna like me because I got something to say. So you go first.
Okay, so I watched Black is King and I felt empowered. I felt, just like a warm feeling in my heart as I watched it. I know a lot of people, we were in our pre-talk, we were talking about how there is some criticism about the lack of narrative in Black is King, and it being kind of just like a bigger like music video. It is a visual album, and I feel like that's also something that like we all of a sudden want albums to be narrative, like when this isn't necessary. Like it's not necessary for an album to be a narrative. That's not really what a compilation of songs needs to be. And I just saw it as like a beautiful video installation, art piece, fashion show, like compilation, celebration of African cultures, specifically like West African cultures. And I got, my brown skin girl t-shirt coming in the mail. I'm waiting. Well, it's on pre-sale. I got that bitch. I don't know when that shit's coming. Like Beyonce was like, 6 to 8 weeks, you'll get it, girl. I was like, it's okay. I don't care. I pay for it now.
You'd be willing to wait like a whole 3 months for Beyonce, but let it be Shanika over there around the corner doing her lip balm, right? Like, Shanika, what's going on?
All right, so what's your criticism?
I agree. First and foremost, I'm going to say I agree with you. It was definitely heartwarming to see like the art and to see her just do her thing. But at the end of the day, like, just take yourself out of the whole thing for a minute, and if you were to like piece by piece, it's just so typical of Beyonce, so typical. She comes out looking popping and beautiful, quotes all these words that we gotta like really think about, like what the hell is she talking about? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jay pops up for like a couple bars, then he disappears, then we see beautiful women, and that's it. And it's like Black is beautiful, and like oh shout out to my shirt.
Yeah, I know. The shirt. I know. Shout out to my shirt. I got a good t-shirt on too. By Detroit artist.
But I think like I was looking for something to really, I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. I loved it. Like, don't think of me as a hater. I'm just saying, like,
I get what you're.
A little bit, Beyonce. Come on.
I get what you're saying, and I totally get that. But me playing devil's advocate against your devil's advocate, right? So I get why she did typical Beyonce, because she did something so atypical for Beyonce, right? She has always celebrated Black American art, right? Yeah. Like, she has always celebrated being from Houston, from being Louisiana, even celebrating New York. Like, she celebrates different aspects of Black Americans. This is the first time she really, really was like, this is for Africa, this is for African artists, and this is how we're going to start talking about the intersection of our cultures.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was kind of necessary for her to be like, I'm going to be like a little typical for y'all because I'm bringing in a whole culture y'all don't even, like, as Americans, we don't really know and we're not really comfortable with. And we're just getting into it because of Afro beats and all this stuff that's popping up. And I feel like there are little subliminal things she added about, you know, Ghanaian culture or Nigerian culture that we're just not hip to. So I get it was typical, but like what she had to put in there. And I get there was a lot of criticism too about like putting in the little Lion King lines and all that stuff. But like low key, I bet Disney kind of made her do that because she said that she was going to do 3 films with Disney and she's counting this as one. So like the bitch is just smart. That's why she did it. She was like, I'll use a couple of your lines if you make me, but like that's it.
I get it. So when you put it that way, yeah, I get it because it has to be in a way that we can like easily digest. And I think also, like you said, it's something new to us. And what I did see when it first came out was people was going straight to like trying to compare it to like demonic things with like her hairstyle and like certain things like that. I'm like, wait a minute, let me look this up. You know what I mean? Let me look into it. And luckily, I mean, like this is why I don't praise social media, but I'm like, thank you, because some people actually did like some snapshots of like her hairstyles and what they represent and like what they're compared to like certain goddesses and gods and stuff like that. So okay, I get it. All right. But like still, I wish Jay-Z at least had popped up a little bit longer than the usual one song. Like, come on,
I appreciate that Blue was like the main character right after Beyonce. Like, let's be real. Blue was in it a lot more than Jay, and I appreciate that. I think she's really the gangster of the family. Let's be real.
It's Speaking Blue. About gangsters, so I learned this month that it's Black August. Like, what? I mean, first off, it's Leo season. Gotta put that out there. My birthday is next week. I don't know when it's gonna release, but August 12th is Leo season. And I think it's just mad dope about how, like, we're really taking the time to, like, highlight some, like, historic things that, like, people didn't know about. So for me, I thought Black August was just going to be like, is this another Black History Month? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? But it's all like, it's actually, if we were to do like Black August versus Black History Month, I think Black History Month really highlights on how like Black people built this country and like what we literally broke our backs for and like how we shaped it. And then Black August is actually just highlighting Black revolutionaries and freedom fighters and political prisoners, which actually I learned started what year? Hold on, look at my notes. 1970.
It's like, can I say?
Yeah. Let me not mess it up. 1970, Black Panther by the name of George Jackson. Turns out he had a very similar story to George Floyd, where he allegedly got accused for stealing $70. George Floyd got accused to allegedly having a fake $20 bill. I think that's quite interesting. But yeah, he went to jail in San Quentin, and what happened was he was basically in there, and while he was in there, he was getting like heated about the fact that he was in there and about systemic racism. So while he was like being heated in there, like upset, he was writing to people like Angela Davis and his brother about it, and he felt like he had to do something. So what had happened was he ended up like taking 2 guards hostage, like him and like a couple of people, you know, took them hostage to try to escape, and they ended up killing him, man, just on sight, most likely. And so with that rebellion and him, like those actions, people heard about it and kind of just like, I don't know, like not necessarily like celebrated the fact that he died, but like what he stood for and like what he wanted to accomplish trying to like get out. And I think his brother did something very similar. His brother's name was, let me not mess this up, Jonathan. And he did something very similar as far as he held like a judge hostage to like kind of secure the fact that his brother will get out. like as he's writing these letters to him, when George was writing these letters to Jonathan, I guess he might have felt like I need to do something too. Like I need to hold it down for my brother. So this month is really supposed to be just a reflection and study to really think about the Black liberators that have done things. And it's quite interesting because I feel like what I've noticed with people who are also dying to fight for a cause, like there was also some birth that was happening. So in the same month that George Jackson died, we all are familiar with Fred Hampton, and he was actually born August 30th. I think that might be the end of Leo season. I'm not too sure. But
overlapping on those two.
as much as I love horoscopes, I should probably like memorize like the cap. But with one man dying for a cause, here's another man who, you know, is born. I mean, he was a baby by then, but I'm sure he like learned because he ended up being growing up to become a Black Panther as well. And yeah, so it's crazy because now there's a movie coming out to highlight him. And we talked about Fred Hampton a little bit when we talked about the random acts of blackness.
Flyness.
Oh, flyness.
Random acts of blackness.
Look, I'm just all consumed. Blackness. That's all I can think
Room
about.
for everyone that's Black. But yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah is a new film that is coming out.
It looks crazy.
Yeah, when is it coming out? It is about Fred Hampton.
I think they said August, but I think with all like the COVID thing, they might.
I'm not sure. I hope to God it's not coming out in theaters. That's not what I'm.
Yeah, I hope not either. It would be dope if they let it loose on Fred Hampton's birthday.
Yeah, that would be dope.
It's August 30th.
But the actual director and writer of this movie is Shaka King, and come to find out, Shaka King wrote 3 episodes of Random Acts of Flyness, and he did a couple for High Maintenance, which is pretty cool, which is a dope show on HBO too. So he's a HBO guy too. But he clearly is making some really interesting artwork here, and I need to keep tuning into his films. I think we should like all just be more hip to like, you know, directors and Black producers that are like really highlighting stories we should be telling. Like obviously we love the Ava DuVernays and the Ryan Cooglers of the world, right? Like we love these the big Black directors, but I think we should be like a little bit more hip to Shaka. Like I did not know about him, and I'm like, how did I not know about Shaka King, and how do I not know like these kind of they're able to like really break through and make box office films, but they're like their first box office films, but they've been doing like shit on big ass networks this whole time, and we just don't know about them. It's crazy. And I think he even won a NAACP award for like best screenwriting for a comedy, I want to say. So like I think we should just like we really need to like get hip to more Black creatives, because like especially in film, I think that it's the best way for us to tell our own stories, and how we like see ourselves. So I think that it's really dope that like that Black August exists for us. Like I almost see it also as a month of mourning, if that makes sense. Like I do see it as like a celebration and a want to learn about these political activists, but so many of them have been killed. So it's hard not to think of it as a time to mourn these folks and the work that they have done, and especially like with the recent passing of John Lewis, that also kind of just makes it feel even heavier. It feels like even more recent. These things that are all kind of intertwining and happening.
And all at once too. I mean, I think that's what is like, it can get so overwhelming, and like it can just like really spin your head, because it's like you want to celebrate or appreciate and learn more about like our culture and our history. But then at the same time that you're learning about these things, people are dying for the very same reasons that you know that we're like really trying to highlight. But I think you're onto something. I feel like if we just really do the work, like put in the work to like really learn about these new directors, like people are creating things, like people are just dishing it out, yo. And although they've been doing it for years, like this is their time. Like I feel like this is really such a time for people to just throw things out there that like that they want to, like, and also to help us like see what's going on. And like because I didn't like before I sent you all the links and stuff, and I was looking at stuff, like I didn't know about like the Watts Rebellion, the Haitian Revolution, who else, Huey P. Newton's death, like all of these things. And so it's like, wow, that's crazy. Like everyone's still fighting for the same thing. It's like repeating itself. But I think what's great is that there are directors that are out there that are stepping up to the plate. Because I did attend like this like free screening thing at Paramount. I think it's Paramount Theater. What was it? Emmanuel College. They were doing like free screenings every Thursday at Paramount. And there was this movie that we were talking about, The Only House in San Francisco, or The Black House, is something along the lines of
the last black man in San Francisco.
Yeah, boom, thank you. And we had a Q&A after, and there was this big question about, because there were some film students there, there was this, not question, but debate about like, or question, whatever the case, however you want to put it, about like, why as a Black director and producer am I responsible for telling, you know, my story or Black stories? Like I get it, like some directors don't want to do that, like they want to talk about random shit that we see all the time that our counterparts might, you know, film and get millions of dollars for, and it tells no story. Like there is no purpose. It's like Seinfeld. It's like it's a story about nothing. It's a movie about nothing. So it's like I get where it's like, why me? Because I'm Black. Like why? But then also it's like it's I'm grateful. Like watchers like us like are so grateful, because like I think it just gives us a starting point to go into deeper research, honestly. And I think this movie, Judas the Black Messiah, I like, by the trailer, it looks like it's telling his story. It's telling the story about Chairman Fred Hampton, but not in like a documentary way. Like it feels like as if you're like there, like as if you're one of the people in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing him. So I'm really excited about this. I can't wait till it comes out. I hope it comes out on the 30th. I'm a virtually tap in, have my popcorn. You know what I'm saying?
I just sent you an image that maybe we can talk about for a second on the chat. Maybe we can just share it. I can share my screen so people can see it with us. But the artist Kerry James Marshall created an image of Fred Hampton, the scene of his bedroom after he was murdered. And it's a Black painting. Let me share my screen.
I remember we mentioned this in one of the other episodes of What's the Word, about how our cells, they grow faster than what our age is because of fight or flight. And this was, I think, hopefully maybe it'll be similar to what I saw, the clips that they gave as far as like his bedroom and stuff.
Yeah, so it's like he's just all shades of blacks and grays here, and you can just see the kind of outline of his body here.
Oh, Dan, you really gotta look.
Yeah, it's a really dark image. But it's the idea of his room, right? And you can like kind of see the imprints of, it doesn't feel violent, but you know what it's about. And I just think it's a really interesting, this is here, you can see it more.
That's good.
So
like, okay.
Yeah, and this is it when you can like see an exo, like when they kind of scan through it. But it's kind of just like what is happening right before kind of. And like we were talking about a while ago when we talked about Fred Hampton's death, that his wife or fiance, girlfriend, his partner was next to him, pregnant
While she
in
was
bed.
pregnant,
So
she
kind of like
helped the
depicting
bullet
that.
go through.
Yeah.
Like, I could not imagine. Like, first off, that's real love right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Black love. And then also, that's so traumatic. Like, I would love to see or hear like the son, of him like being whatever age he is now, and seeing that like clip of his mom. I wonder if he like.
Oh yeah, I could not imagine. But yeah, this film looks really amazing.
That's my boy.
Love.
What's his name? Lakeith?
Yeah, Lakeith. Stop it.
Love him. Now I don't know. I don't know about dating him though, because I heard there's this situation with him and Dirty Nails, and that's my top pet peeve.
Excuse me? He doesn't. What is that? That's slanderous. I don't need you to be talking about him like that. I need you.
There was some pictures of him with dirty nails.
Are we sure that wasn't like a part of the film that he was working on? Talking about dirty, this is a really bad transition, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Because we're talking about activism and freedom fighters and doing it up and doing it for the first time, and I just gotta talk about WAP. I gotta talk to you about wet ass pussy, honestly. Like, Cardi B and Megan, bitch. That video was like, oh, okay.
But I can't lie. Okay, first off, I'm sorry, Meg, ahead of time, but I couldn't stop looking at her feet. Like, I couldn't. Like, was this before or after?
This had to be before, because she was still doing the most.
Doing her thing, and sorry to say that I think Tory Lanez got deported.
Oh yeah, that too.
That situation, but whatever. But yeah, your WAP. Okay, so I like it. I do like it, because we should feel empowered about our bodies, and we should do whatever we want. And yeah, it's gonna be soaking wet. You know what I mean? But on the other side of me, like, because I'm over here studying Christianity,
Yeah, this bitch went to church this morning, and now we're talking about WAP.
No, my Christian side is just like, oh, Jesus.
Girl. My slightly spiritual side was like, oh, what about, should I lower this? Like, I was like, oh, what's going on?
And the feminist part of me is like, yes, yes, I want to.
Yes. As soon as the beginning of the video opened and the fucking mansion doors opened and just water rushing down, I was like, it's like, it was so interesting, because like all I think about is The Shining and like that blood scene where like all the blood comes rushing, and I was like, but it's not blood. Oh.
You're gonna have to excuse me, because it didn't really even click to me what WAP stood for until you literally just said it.
Yeah.
I was like,
wait, so have you only seen the video? You haven't heard the song in its explicit version?
Well, so yeah, I only saw the video and heard the words and everything from the video. And
okay, because if you listen to the actual explicit version of the song, it is nasty.
Yeah, I bet.
It is a lot.
When I heard the word WAP, what did I think about that song? I think it's like a New Orleans bounce joint, and it was just, I was thinking about like
WAP, 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 yeah,
yeah. So when are they gonna say it? When are they gonna say
WAP, 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 yeah, that one, like
it's an acronym or whatever. So wet ass. I hate that word too. Like,
I know, but I was like, all right, do it.
Okay, all right.
Visually, I didn't think it was like that great. I'm fully aware that like they obviously had to do everything in green screen, and like there's that. But like one, definitely Kylie Jenner was not needed. We all know this.
Like, why?
Her seconds of silence was nothing. It was pointless. At least like Normani, when she was in there, she like tore it up. Yeah, like at least she was there doing something. Fucking all we see of fucking Kylie is the boobs she paid for. Like, why do I need to see that? And the ass she paid for.
I hate to hate on a fellow Leo, which she is, but I was kind of like, okay.
Are you here?
Was talking about, yo, I thought she was about to bang out a couple lines, a couple bars. I'm like, I would have been dead if she even said a word. Like,
yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Get out the house. I hope you're like exiting out the house.
Yeah.
This is
but it's a banger. I feel like we're gonna be listening to it all of the rest of August. We'll see. We'll just like, you can feel the vibe of a space depending if they're gonna, you know, throw out the explicit version of the song versus the folks that are like, no, we're gonna stick with the clean one because the clean one is still dirty as fuck. Like, the clean version says wet ass gushy. Like, that's just as bad, honestly.
It is. And all I could think about is like, what about the kids? Like, hopefully they think about it as like gushers or something. And
no, there's just some songs we just can't play for the kids. There's just some songs that can't be on the radio. Like, there's some songs you can't play in your car if you got kids. Like,
but don't be ashamed of your wet ass.
Yeah, in the end, it's a celebration.
It is, right?
That's what August is about.
Yeah, celebration of all that liberation, death, and vagina.
Yeah, for sure. Well, word. That's the word. Move on. Dope.
Next.
Yeah.
The word was the word was the